Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to talk about 7 different characters of the Pisum sativum, that is garden pea plant, which Mendel select for his experiment. Okay. Actually, Mendel select contrasting character. Each character have two different forms, which Mendel called as dominating trait and recessive trait. Okay. So now in this table, I am going to compare all the 7 character with their dominating and recessive traits. Okay, so the first column will be characters, the second will be dominating traits, the last column is for recessive trait. Okay, and in dominant and recessive trait, we will going to make two sub column as phenotype and genotype. Okay, so out of the 7 character, the first which Mendel select was height of the plant. Okay, in some book they have written stem height. Okay, it is nothing but the actual height of the plant. Now the height in Pisum sativum have two different forms. Okay, one is dominating trait and another is recessive trait. Now the dominating trait is tall. Okay, that means in this case the stem grow longer and overall height of the plant become more when we compare this character with the recessive trait. Okay, so the phenotypic appearance of dominating character height is tall, while its genotype will be capital T or capital T small t. As we know that if the plant grow tall, suppose this is the stem of the plant and the overall height of the plant is more when we compare it with the dwarf plant. Now this tall plant always have homozygous dominating allele, that is capital T, or it may have heterozygous condition, that is capital T small t. I have already discussed about the concept of dominant homozygous and dominant heterozygous in my previous video. Okay, so if the plant have capital T allele, then the height will be tall. And if the plant have capital T small t allele, in that case also the capital T will going to suppress the effect of the small t and the height also going to become tall. Okay, so both this type of genotype going to give tall plant. Okay, now if we consider the recessive trait for height, in that case plant grow dwarf. In genetics, instead of short, we always call plant as a dwarf plant. Okay, in this case the total height of the stem is less. Okay, suppose this is the plant, you can easily compare the height of tall plant with the dwarf plant. Okay, because they are contrasting character, one can easily differentiate both the character by normal observations. Okay, now the genotype for the dwarf plant is always small t, because this small t is a recessive character and it only expressed in homozygous condition. Okay, that means plant will going to have both the allele as a small t, and in that case only plant will going to give dwarf height. Okay, if the plant have capital T or capital T small t, the height will going to become tall. Okay, so this is the first character which Mendel select for his experiment, that is height of the stem. Two trait, dominant and recessive. Dominant have tall phenotype, while the genotype will be capital T or capital T small t, while the recessive have phenotype dwarf and genotype will be small t small t. Now the next character which Mendel select is seed shape. Okay, so in case of Pisum sativum, two different type of shapes are found in the seed. Okay, so the dominant shape is round. Okay, so it is the dominant phenotype. The surface of the seed is smooth and the overall seed appear circular or round. So it is the dominant phenotype of the seed shape character. Its genotype always will be capital R or capital R small r. Okay, both the genes will be dominant, or one gene will be dominant and another will be recessive. In both these cases, the seed shape will going to become round. Okay, so round is dominant phenotype of the seed shape character, while its genotype is capital R or capital R small r. Now the recessive trait for this character is wrinkled. Okay, that means in this case, if you observe the seed, the surface of the seed shows such wrinkles. It is not smooth and rounded, but it show wrinkles. And the genotype for this seed is small r, small r. Okay, because it is a recessive character, it only express in homozygous condition, but dominant character can express itself in homozygous as well as heterozygous condition. Now the third character which Mendel select for his experiment is also related to the seed, that is seed color. Okay. Two different types of color are found in the garden pea plant seed. Number one is yellow. Okay, suppose this is yellow seed, which is dominating character, and the genotype of the yellow seed always will be capital Y or capital Y small y. The recessive partner of the seed color is green seed. Okay, so the recessive trait for seed color is green color, and the genotype always will be small y, small y. Okay, so this is character number 3, seed color. The dominating seed color in the garden pea is yellow color. Its genotype is capital Y or capital Y small y, because this capital is dominating allele. Okay, it will going to express in homozygous as well as heterozygous condition, while its recessive phenotype is green color seed, and it only express when the plant have both the allele, which is small y, small y. Now the next character which Mendel select is related to pod, which is pod shape. Pod is the structure which hold the seed, okay, which enclose the seed. We know there are different types of shapes of pod which is present in the angiospermic plant. Okay, now in case of garden pea plant, two different shapes are present. Number one is inflated, and its recessive partner is constricted. What is the difference between inflated, which is the dominating character, and recessive, which is the constricted characters? Okay, now the inflated pod will going to have smooth shape. Okay, this is the pod, and inside this pod seeds are present like this. And when we see the genotype of the inflated pod, it will be capital I or capital I small I. Its recessive partner is constricted. In this case, you can easily find such constrictions on the pod of the garden pea plant. Okay, the surface of the pod is not smooth, but it is constricted, and inside this pod seeds are present. Now this constricted recessive trait will always have genotype small I, small I. So character number 4 is related to pod. and its shape. Okay. Now the character number 5 is pod color. It is quite opposite to that of the seed color. The pod color, dominant trait of the pod color is green. Okay, that means if the pod have green color, in that case you can say this is the dominating character. Okay, now the genotype of the green pod is always will be capital G or capital G small g, because this capital G allele represent the dominating gene, and it expressed in homozygous as well as heterozygous condition, and its recessive partner is yellow color in pods. Okay, so in this case you can find yellow color pod in plant, and its genotype always will be small g small g. Okay, so character number 4 and 5 is related to pods. First is pod shape, inflated and constricted, that is dominant and recessive, and next is pod color, green for dominant and yellow for recessive. Now the next character is related to flower. Okay, which is flower position. Where exactly flower is attached to the stem. On the basis of this, there are two different types of position found in the garden pea plant. If the flower is attached to the main axis and not to the tip of the axis, in that case it is called axial arrangement of the flower. Axial arrangement. Okay, like this. Suppose this is the stem of the plant. Now flowers are attached like this on the stem. They are on the axis. So we can call them as axial flowers. And the genotype for this type of flowers are capital A, or capital A, small a. A for axial arrangement of the flower or axial position of the flower. Now, the recessive character for flower position is terminal position. In this case, suppose this is the stem of the plant with branches. Now flowers are present at tip. So they are at terminal position. And this type of arrangement or position of the flower is called terminal phenotype, which is a recessive trait, and its genotype always will be small a, small a. Now the last character which Mendel select in this plant is flower color. Okay, two different types of flowers are present in this plant. Some flowers show purple color while others show white color. Okay, now the purple color flower, okay, this is the purple color flower is the dominating trait, and the phenotype of the flower will be purple color. So if we draw the flower, it will going to look like this, and its genotype always will be capital C or capital C, small c. This C for colored flower, and the color will be purple. Now its recessive partner is white flower, white color flower. Okay, now in this case flower will going to have white color, and the genotype of this type of flower will be small c, small c. So we have discussed all the 7 characters that Mendel select for his famous hybridization experiment. The first character is related to the height of the plant. Its dominating form is tall while the recessive form is dark. Tall plant are produced when genotype of the plant is capital T or capital T small t, while the recessive character, that is dwarf plant, is produced when the genotype is small t. Then the next two characters are related to seed shape and seed color. Okay, round and wrinkles are the dominant and recessive form of the seed shape, while the yellow and green are related to seed color. Yellow is the dominating character or dominating trait, and green is the recessive trait. Then the character number 4 and 5 is related to pod. First is pod shape and the second is pod color. Inflated and constricted are the pod shape, which is dominant and recessive respectively, while the pod colors are green for dominant and yellow for recessive. The next is flower position. If the flower is at the axis, it is called as axial position, which is dominating character. And if the flower is at the terminal, it is called as terminal position, and it is the recessive character. Last character is flower color. Purple color flower is the dominating character, which is represented by capital C genotype or capital C small c genotype, and white color flower, which is represented by small c genotype. So in this series, in last 3 videos, we discuss about genetics, biography of Mendel, important terminologies, and now in this video, I discuss about 7 different characters which Mendel selects. Now from next video, we are going to talk about actual hybridization experiment that Gregor Johann Mendel performed. Thank you.